60 grand a year, nobody has any sympathy. It's the easiest job in the world being a train driver.
Is it? So, you've ever done it then, James? You drove a train. Have you drove a train?
It's amazing if you ever see any of the James Welsh show, the amount of times he decides to cut a guest off or ask them to leave the studio. I know it's all theatrics and creates clickbait, but the upshot or downside to this, whichever position you decide to look at it from, is how it makes James look ignorant and weak, unable to argue his points of view that he seems so wedded to out of his depth. He simply cuts the interview short. Here, though, with ex-RMT union boss Steve Hedley, he gets more than he bargained for.
I actually have sat in and driven one.
You sat in a train, you haven't drove one.
They wouldn't let me. You don't need to do anything.
It's the easiest job in the world and you've never done it.
Easier, you can laugh as much as you like.
It's the easiest job in the world.
It must be easy. They do it every day.
You don't even need a driver. And all you do is hold the public.
Need a driver.
You don't. All the public, you're holding them to hostage at the moment.
Oh, there we go. Cliches. James, I've known you 20 years and you haven't changed your cliches.
It's not a cliche.
The government are holding.
They haven't got any money. The government have not got any money.
They've got plenty of money for wars. They've got plenty of money to give Ukraine. They've got plenty of money to give Israel.
OK, buckle up. Once Steve starts talking about Palestine and Israel, it's clear James and his stupid sidekick struggle to keep up with him, inevitably leading James to cut the interview short.
They could sell an arms to Israel.
Are you completely stupid, Steve? Are you completely nuts?
Well,
I mean, you come in here dressed in a scarf with a
Palestinian scarf.
Do you actually really support the Palestinians?
Absolutely.
What
about Hamas? What about Hamas?
I defend the Palestinians' right to defend themselves.
Yeah. Do you say Hamas it was a resistance?
Sorry, I believe the Israeli government are a fascist government. I believe the Israeli government are a terrorist government.
It's a democratic government, though, isn't it? It's a democracy.
So that's the case.
Hitler was elected,
so he's democratic, is he?
This is not on. Well, you want to talk rubbish? Go and talk to the BBC or some other.
But what do you think about the Hamas?
What about free speech?
Was Hamas a legitimate action?
You're saying it, but I don't need to listen to
what I'm saying to you is that I condemn terrorism, whether it comes from Hamas or from the Israeli government.
Right, so it has come from Hamas, but not from Israel. That's a war, isn't it?
Of course it has.
Well, no, that's defending themselves, isn't it?
No, because it's an occupied people.
Well, it is now. It wasn't in 2005.
It can't be self-defense.
They're not occupied.
It wasn't in 2005.
They've been occupied since 1947 when they drove the Palestinians off their land.
You want to look at your history books. 2005, they all left.
1947 is when the Nakba happened. I've never met such ill-informed people in my life.
Quiet. I don't want you in here anymore, Steve, because you are supporting the enemies of this country.
So you're throwing me out, James, because you the defender of free speech, are throwing me out.
You've had free speech, but I don't have to allow you to carry on. You, the defender of free speech,
are throwing me out.
I am defending the freedom of this country. I don't need... If we're at war, as we soon are going to be, you won't be...
Who are with the Palestinian children who you're murdering in their thousands?
Do you support the 77 bombers then? Because they did that for the Palestinians. Well, why not? They did that for the Palestinian people. Do you support the Borough Market stabbings?
Do you support 30,000 dead people, civilians?
Well, yeah, it's collateral damage. It's a legal war. It's the lowest
killing women and children.
It's the lowest amount of collateral damage ever.
Genocide in Gaza.
It's not genocide, is it? 25,000 people out of 2 million is not genocide.
Just hang on a moment.
Go to your history books,
it's deliberately harming in part or in full.
Ash is Jewish, and what you're saying to him is
that doesn't matter if I'm Jewish, but it's not genocide, is it? It's irrelevant anyway, but it's not genocide.
It's not about being Jewish, it's about being a Zionist.
What is a Zionist?
A Zionist.
Should the Jews not have a homeland then?
No, it's really...
Why didn't they have one in Bavaria? It was the Germans that had the Holocaust, not the Palestinians.
Was Israel never the homeland of the Jews?
Not in occupied Palestine, no.
I don't want him on the show.
That's why they find old Jewish texts from 3,000 years ago.
They occupied Palestine.
Don't want that either.
They occupied Palestine.
Most of them come from the Arab countries that were expelled.
They ransom ever since.
Most of them were expelled from the Arab countries, most of Israel.
No, that's not true.
55%.
Can you be quiet?
Seriously, can you be quiet? The Arab countries actually... gave the Jews refuge when the Holocaust was happening. How about that?
They were on the Nazi side. You don't know your history.
You don't know your history.
I don't know what he says. I'm executive producer.
Are you arguing that the Nakba took place? The United Nations recognised that the Nakba took place.
You're talking rubbish.
The United Nations recognised that the Nakba took place.
I'm trying to kick him out. What do you want me to do?
Is the UN? Is this the UN that were on the Hamas attack? Is this the UN that are totally bent and corrupt organisations? Do you mean that UN?
To investigate genocide.
Yeah.
This young lady is showing you out.
This young lady is showing you out.
The Israeli government are now being brought before the world because everyone has recognised that there was a genocide going on.
This is what worries me.
I'm not talking rubbish.
You are, you say.
The Palestinian people are an occupied people and they've got a right to defend themselves.
No. They weren't in 2005. They were totally free in 2005.
Hamas didn't exist in 1947 when you started occupying their land. Hamas didn't exist. We have Netanyahu making the same statements about Hamas that he did about the PLO.
They're very similar. Very similar. Same thing. Terrorists.
Oh, really?
Same thing.
Your state's a terrorist state, isn't it, Ash? That's the reality.
No.
Britain's a terrorist state. America's a terrorist state. And Israel is a terrorist state. This is the reality of it. Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Well, it's not a terrorist state, is it?
It's a terrorist state.
Right, come on.
James, you're trying to assault me, James. You're trying to assault me, James.
I'm an old man with cancer.
Well, James, don't please.
Well, do what I ask and go.
I'm not going to go. And you won't be able to remove me, James, so please don't.
Why? What are you going to do?
I'm making a statement here for Palestine.
A statement of rubbish. Just talking rubbish.
Take your book and go out and support Palestine. I know you want to hit me.
I'm not going to hit you,
no,
James.
You're not. You're absolutely right.
Not at all.
You're quite Hamas with Israel.
You're a silly little man.
Well,
you're a silly little man. A genocide enabler. A genocide enabler, James.
You talk crap. That's all you can spout. All you can spout is that crap, isn't it? Genocide enabler.
From the river to the sea.
Click here for Steve Hedley versus Julia Hedley Brewer.